This is the Superpowered Mind podcast for inquiring individuals who are tired of the struggle for peace, happiness, and clarity. I'm Claire Diamond, ready to help you explore the principles of the mind, the self, and reality to unlock ultimate mental freedom. This podcast is the one to listen to if you're ready to experience the capabilities of the superpowered mind. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 39. And today we're looking at what is alignment. It's a word we use quite a lot in this conversation. And it's useful to take a few minutes to think about what is actually going on with it. Well, I think we can look at it in three areas. The first area is the mind settling into what's true. The human mind is so extraordinarily powerful and so creative, so conceptual, so able to time travel, people travel, world travel, that its creations can look absolutely real. And to itself, it creates and then it reacts to those creations. And so that's our first aspect of misalignment, really, where the content of experience comes from a projection of the subconscious fear, need, shame, insecurity, and lack that has been learned by the subconscious mind. And this projection, which takes the form of other people, situations, circumstances, limitations, concepts like success, money, love. These projections look so real that they reconfirm that whole belief system that created them in the first place. And this is what I call the re-traumatization cycle, is the mind is so powerful. It creates from its learned belief system, and then those creations, which look absolutely powerfully real, are further evidence that that belief system is right. So there isn't any possibility within that closed loop of questioning what is actually true. So the first aspect of alignment happens when some words or a video or a message, a book, creates a glimmer of truth that projected system, the stress that is being felt, the ongoing exhaustion and frustration and insecurity is being created by the mind. And that's the first glimmer of alignment. That opens up the door. Once that happens, it's all the way. There's no getting off the train until it goes right through to the very end. But that's the doors of the train opening, and we step on in that place. And it can come from many, many different places. That glimpse of the experience of being isn't necessarily true. For me, it happened when I did my yoga teacher training in 2005. It's literally the first time anyone had ever said anything about this in such a way that I actually understood what it was that they were actually saying. And it was mind-blowing that to be introduced to the idea that that whole experience of self and other and world is not objectively true. My gosh, wow. So that's the starting point of alignment, really, is the mind starting to question itself. The mind no longer blindly reacting to its own projections and then using that as fuel for the believing system. From that initial glimpse, there starts to be a freedom in which it's recognized that the whole way reality appears, the whole way the self appears, all behavior, all reactions are information about what is being believed. and stress reactions in particular, fight and flight, defense, protection around this idea of me, are all highly indicative that the whole body-mind system is operating on a past reality that is being drawn into the current moment, but which doesn't exist in actual real time. It's a relic from the past. And that changes everything now, because now the appearance of things is no longer the navigating tool. It makes no sense to navigate, to orientate existence around how things appear when it starts to be clear that that changes. It changes from one extreme to the other according to mood or hunger or new information. It's incredibly unreliable. And so the new navigation is the recognition of that, really. The new navigation is that stress and discomfort, resistance, resentment, extreme feeling of separation are all indicating that a frightened, lacking, full of shame, full of insecurity belief system is operating. And that takes us into the second area of alignment now, which is behavior changing. Behavior will inevitably change because the understanding, the subconscious belief system, the subconscious platform that from which everything is originating is shifting phenomenally, incredible. Even just a tiny realization can blow up decades of entrenched belief, suddenly gone. And when that a whole, who knows how many layers and layers and layers of beliefs no longer make sense, when that's gone, all the behaviors that those beliefs were keeping in place no longer make sense. They might continue for a while, and we definitely see this. And it's actually why it almost looks like we're sort of going back in terms of understanding, because these behaviors start to they become so visible, really jarring. I remember when I shouted once at my kids, and it just felt awful. It was awful. And it made me think how much I had shouted in the past and not even really noticed. But suddenly, because things are shifting, because things don't look necessary, because there's less and less projection, less and less identification, less and less imagining, less and less personalizing of everything, those old behaviors start to really look anomalous. Why are they there even? What are they even doing? They make no sense. And so they go. There's no roots to them. There's no foundation to them. And so the second area of alignment is behavior changing in every respect, in relation to the body, in relation to our health, our partnerships, our friendships, at work, our creativity, our self-expression. All of it inevitably changes as the subconscious system becomes more aligned to truth. And the truth really is that there is no separation. There is no separate entity controlling behavior, and there is no separate world independent of that identity. The two are made of the same thing. And as separation becomes less and less tenable as a belief system, it's replaced by accountability for everything. So the mind shifts from identification as the controller, as the decider, as the thing that should be so full of shame and insecurity because it can't control these things, to a whole system that is operating on the basis that the conscious mind is witnessing all behavior, all reality, and all behavior and all reality is the perfection of the design, creating more and more alignment, more and more integrity, more authenticity of truth within, with nothing to protect in terms of the identity. There is such a greater freedom of expression and so much less need to or desire to control or manipulate or persuade. Arguments now become so much more just about facts and reality. And so what's happening is there's an alignment going on deep within where the fear isn't there anymore. And because there's no fear, there's no need to defend and protect and hide. And so there's an honesty that is available. And that honesty is like fresh air through the whole system. So deep within, there's alignment happening. And because this honesty is coming out into the world, what we want is stated, how we think is stated. It allows all the attention to go out into the world, seeking new information, seeking to learn, arguing when things don't look right or true or fair, just. So alignment's happening in two directions, inwards and outwards. The third area is because essentially alignment is no understanding of no separation and ultimate impersonal accountability for the entirety of how everything appears. The third stage of alignment, which really I see as the whole purpose of this conversation or exploration, is the movement of intelligence and consciousness via this particular individual form with all its unique talent and experience and expertise and resources and insight and ability, that intelligence moving into the world via that form to create from that space, to learn from that space, and to find solutions to the problems or the systems or the challenges that are particularly relevant for that form, particularly inviting, really, for that particular expertise. And it's impersonal because there's no separation. There is no attempt to do this on behalf of a separate entity that is going to be made valuable and worthy through this. No, it's an impersonal movement into the world, intelligence honing in on where that particular form can make the greatest impact. And it's a sane system now. It's an aligned system, recognizing that when there is a crunch of stress or ego protection, identity defense, that it means there's another threshold of freedom available. There's another realm to step into of a different self in a different world with different capabilities, really different resources available. This is the incredible thing. And so it does mean no retirement for any of us. And that's a good thing. It's an onward, ever fascinating movement into the world in whatever makes most sense for that individual system. And it's not personal. There is no separate entity gaining any stability or security or kudos from it whatsoever. Nothing. Which means that criticism and praise are information, both really valuable. And so now there is a an aligned system available to receive as much information as it can possibly get. It catalyzes that information. There's an alchemy going on subconsciously with what that system can bring to that information. And then out it comes in the form of new creations, new solutions, new ideas, new systems, whatever it is. And that's alignment. It doesn't end. There's no place to reach. It's ongoing for the whole of the rest of our lives. And it's the perfection of the design. Everything, every conversation, every situation, every work project, every email, everything is saying to that system, this is how alignment happens. This is how you return to truth. This is how the mind recognizes that what the system is a tube. One end in infinite intelligence, infinite consciousness, infinite aliveness, and the other end directed into this world of apparent form, which is changing all the time because of that gaze, because of that sanity that's being brought to bear on it. So, it's amazing, really amazing. Alignment is inevitable from this conversation. Yeah, it's a train that once we're on it, goes all the way. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Lots of love. Bye. Thank you for listening to Superpowered Mind with me, Claire Diamond. If you want extra support in the exploration of your mind, download our exclusive subliminal recording, especially for podcast listeners, on bit.ly/podcast subliminal.